Hi there, thank you so much for clicking the thumbnail and being interested in my work. In this video, part 1, I'll be sharing with you my techniques and tips on how I painted this iris flower. Be sure to watch it right through till the end, because here and there I'll be slowing things down in real time so you can take a closer look. So let's dive in and take a look. Right, so first thing I do is just get a center point in my board, because I'm going to draw this freehand, and I just use a center point to work from. The easiest way I've found is to create a new layer and then select it, and then it automatically brings up a box with a center point in it, just showing you here with my cursor, and then I just follow from that. The reference image should be scaled up to the same as my artwork, which is a 12-inch by 8-inch painting, and then that obviously will create the correct center point. In that center point will make everything sort of go out from there in proportion, and basically how I do the outline is just to compare the sizes against other sizes. But there's more in-depth videos on how I've done the outline. There's one in my channel. It's actually real-time video, real-time audio, so please check that out. I'll leave the link in the description below, so it'll give you more of an in-depth way of how I create the outline, rather than spending too much time on this video explaining it here. What I tend to do first is get a piece of scrap board. This is Pastel mat, by the way, I'm using, and just doing a few tests on it just to see how I can build up and how I can approach the layers. Some Rembrandt sticks I've been trying out. For the underdrawing, I'm using these basic colours. And what I did first is just get the putty rubber, which is kneaded eraser, and just rub out the 708 Carbothello grey pencil I've used for the outline. Just rubbed it out so it's hardly like a ghost outline then, so it don't mix too much with the colour. Basically what I'm doing is just using the blue and the red just to create the form, and just mixing the purpley colour of the flower. The idea behind the underdrawing is to actually correct any problems with the outline. You can move things around, and basically what you're trying to do here is to get a balance, to get a feel for the actual subject. Even at this early stage, I'm connecting to the energy and the feel of this flower. The approach to actually achieve this is to open the heart, relax the mind, just let it go, and just feel and open up and try and dissolve into the feeling of it and sense how it makes you feel when you look at nature. The more you relax and the more you sense this, the more you'll feel it flow through you out of your hands. So basically just using, the primary colours. I will introduce a yellow in a while, but it's just basically just getting a feel for where things go, just mapping it out really, just get all the shadows in the correct area. Just makes life so much easier when you start putting the richer stage on and the details. It's best to put this on lightly, not to fill in the tooth too much, because you'll need that tooth to be there when you start putting details in later. So if you start loading up with too much colour at this early stage, it will create problems later. So just try and keep this very light and build up the layers slowly. Now the yellow I'm using is a lemon yellow. It's just for mixing the greens with the blue I'm using. So it's ultramarine blue and lemon yellow, and then that's Elysium crimson type of red, and that's all I'm using really with the white, just to get this basic outline in. this is great practice actually using just the primary colours. It's lovely to just mix your colours and really just gets you used to seeing them and how to mix them. So when we do the final details, when you're glazing and putting them subtleties over what you've already done underneath, it just gives you an idea of what to do. You've already sort of sussed it out at this stage. So this is the actual underdrawing completed, which will make life so much easier when we start putting the richer colours on now. So first of all, what I've decided to do is to put a sheet of glazing paper over half of it, so when I start leaning on it I'm not going to smudge what I've already done. And now, in addition to the actual blue and red I've used already, I've got a Caran d'Ache purple, I'm using the light purple, and the two whites, and also the Rembrandt sticks I've selected. Before I start, I just play about with certain combinations, see what works. I'm thinking about introducing this pencil at the time of the drawing, so I added that to the mix, so with two blues, but eventually I decided to discard that and just mix my purple rather than using that purple pencil. It didn't seem to work. But first of all, I used the rich Rembrandt sticks first to get the vibrancy on there, and then move that Rembrandt pastel around by using the Caran d'Ache and the other colours. So basically it's just using that really rich pigment and moving it around with the other pencils. If you're enjoying this video, why not subscribe? It's absolutely free, and then you're sure not to miss any of my future videos. I'm not really interested in putting the detailing at this stage. It's just a matter of making the values more correct and getting the richer colour in there, so you're trying to get the vibrancy you're looking for. Just mixing my purples by just using the blue and red, and then just playing about with different things, just seeing what works. There's two different whites as well of the Caran d'Ache. One is a brighter, fresher white, and the other's got a little hint of yellow in it, which is the Chinese white, and each one creates a different sort of feel to it and a different glow, so it's always good to practice and play about with the different white. When you're actually copying from a reference image on a monitor as well, the brightness and freshness you feel is very difficult to reproduce on a board, so you have to get close as you can to it. So how I try and do that is to put the white underneath and glaze over top, so the white shines through and it gives you that feeling of glowing from underneath the colour. If you would like to support my art and have access to longer, slower, more in-depth videos, please join me on Patreon. The link is in the description below. To help me to see the values, I'm squinting my eyes and then I'm opening my eyes to see the colour, so you're flipping from one to the other, squinting to see the values, open the eyes to see the colour. And it's a case of just roughing these values in, but more of a richer colour. So this is still a blocking stage, it's not detailed at all at the moment, but you're just trying to get a more of an accurate balance. This painting will be on my Patreon at some point, where I give a lot more information, more in-depth look at it. It's 4 hour long it would be, and I'll go into a lot more detail on how I layer it and how I'll get the balance of the colours, so be sure to check that out. I've got loads of videos on there at the moment now, so please check out with the link in the description below. I really appreciate the support because it really helps me to create the free content on YouTube and to produce the exclusive videos for Patreons. There's some real-time footage now, just showing you how I'm glazing and mixing that purple. very, very lightly putting it over the white. So the best thing to do is to put the white down first and then glaze over the top with its colours, which will create a glow. I'm starting to put a few details in there now and looking at the edges. Some edges need to be sharp and vibrant and some needs to be soft. So I'm sharpening up the edges of the flower there, the petal, using the white, and eventually that will be glazed over with all the colours like blue and red. So it's just to basically just keep repeating with the white and then glaze, white, glaze, until you get that actual subtlety you need. You have to be really patient because it does take a while to build up this method, but it's well worth it because as you build the layers up, it builds up really nice subtleties. So it's worth spending the time just relaxing and just feeling and just letting it flow, and don't worry about how long it takes because this always just causes stress and tension. So my motto is it takes as long as it takes. So if you don't time watch, it keeps you more relaxed, because if you think, oh, I'm going to do this in an hour, then you start to cut corners down and then you don't do your best work because you're rushing. If you enjoyed this video, why not give it a like and share it with your friends? It would mean so much to me, as this would help the channel to grow. Now we're on with the last stage, which is the detail stage. Now I tend to actually be more aware of how things are glowing, where things needs to be sharper, where things needs to be softer, and try and get an overall feeling of balance. So I'm looking at the whole of the image. I'll let go of the mind, open the heart, melt into it, try and be one with it and one with nature and how it feels, and just let this flow through you and just get that sense of balance through just observation and a sense of connection. Just focusing in on a small part here just to show you how I did the details, just making that glow of the white more prominent in certain areas, just gives it that sense of aliveness. This is where you need to have that tooth still available on the pastel mat, and that's that I haven't piled up too much colour on that underneath. Now if I put loads of pigment on there, these details will be very difficult to do, so just be aware on the other layers not to overload it. What I'm doing there as well is just putting a little bit of lemon yellow on there, which just adds to the glow, makes all the difference. You have to be careful not to put too much of that on, then it creates greens, but try the orange to see if that works better, because obviously this is a blue purpley colour, so the complementary of that would be either orange or yellows. So you'd have to experiment with the lemon yellow and the orange to see which is best to create those subtle shadows. Hope you've enjoyed part 1. Part 2 will be in the next video, and then I'll be explaining the other 2 petals and the stem and the buds and how I create that. So I'm not sure whether to really put a background on this or not. It won't be the background what you see at the beginning on the original image. It'll be a different background I'm thinking of, more simpler tonal values. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. If you could leave a comment and let me know what you think. Shall I put a background in there or not, or shall I just leave it blank? Here's the study at the correct angle rather than being in perspective on the easel. Thank you for watching the video right through to the end. If you found value in it and you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Appreciate it, would help the channel. Leave a comment and a message in the comments below. Let me know what sort of videos you want me to produce. I've actually left a couple of links here for you to click on, and to subscribe, click on the circle here. It's absolutely free, and then you're sure not to miss any of my future videos. Thank you so much, take care and be well.